When Tom Brady made the shocking announcement only 40 days after he'd retired that he was actually coming back and he'd be playing for the Bucs, some people were wondering, well, why'd you retire in the first place? So many reports coming out about the Miami Dolphins situation, maybe what he was potentially looking to do there. But now an announcement from Bucs training camp that has people wondering, why is this happening? Breaking, Tom Brady to miss extended time with the Buccaneers. Bucs head coach Todd Bowles addressed why Tom Brady will miss time from training camp due to personal reasons. Now, they've said it's not due to injury. It's simply, it was predetermined. They had already talked about this. They knew that he was going to take 11 days away from the team in the middle of training camp for undisclosed personal reasons. Now, since that time, obviously, people are going to speculate. If you don't actually give them a reason, of course, they're going to speculate about this. And we do have some details from Ian Rappaport. He says, here's everything I understand about this. It was planned. No one's worried. To my knowledge, it's not a medical emergency related to him or anyone close to him. I was told everything is okay. The best description I got about this was that it's important to find a work-life balance. And now we have another report that came out just a little bit ago that Tom Brady is looking miserable and not fully into it at Bucs training camp. I do wonder where his head is right now, Ben Volin, NFL reporter. He was so good at 44. There's no doubt in our minds that if Brady's fully committed, he can have a terrific season at 45. But there are signs his head's not fully into it. I try not to be the body language police, but I was at Bucs practice yesterday, and he looked miserable. What is going on with Tom Brady, Jeremy?
I don't believe the he looks miserable reports.
Me neither. That's weird.
I at first thought that there was something seriously wrong. I think I even talked to you on the phone about this. I was like, something's up. But the more and more I've looked into it, the more and more I've kind of thought about it. I do think that the idea that he probably just had a prior engagement because of his sudden retirement, which was so weird, though. That retirement was so strange and didn't make sense to me. But I look, this whole Julio Jones thing and him bringing Julio in, there's no way he's disengaged or his head's not into it. It's just that's not how he's wired. And bringing someone of Julio Jones, status, who I know Julio's has a lot of injuries last years, but him being there, and I think that's got to bring a different level of excitement to Brady and the opportunities he has this year. But I do believe this is his last year. I don't see how the man can play past 45. And the only thing that it could be is outside of just a prior engagement that was probably already agreed upon, which, is strange, but is the
For
only
11
thing that
days.
Seems to make sense. Yeah, that seems to make, it's the only thing that seems to make sense. But it's that his body could be finally giving up on him at 45 years old to play at the level that he's playing. I can see that being possible, but still, it's just hard to believe, man. Like, the guy just seemed like he could play another 5 years the last time we saw him, which is, it's unheard of. What he's doing is it shouldn't be possible. It really shouldn't. But I don't know, man. The bottom line is, if it is something, a prior engagement, that's what should have been released in the press.
Yes.
When you say undisclosed personal reasons, there's literally nothing to do but speculate at that point. There's nothing to do but speculate. He's smart enough to understand this. The team should be smart enough to understand this. And the fact that they didn't say that it was for a prior engagement or something that he had already agreed upon, that just opens the floodgates. This is not the type of discussion you want surrounding your team going into this season, coming off of all of the Miami Dolphins drama, coming off of him doing a retirement and then unretiring. This is not the discussion you want. So they're not handling it the best way they could.
Yeah, when I first heard that he was going to be away from the team, I was thinking maybe it could have been his mother. Remember, his mother had cancer and nobody
knew about it.
It was really under wraps. I mean,
yeah,
you didn't really know anything till after the Super Bowl that they won. So this is weird. Definitely something that probably had to do with him retiring. But I can't imagine, Tom Brady just, training camp starting, Julio's there, and he's saying, you know what, I had a planned vacation. Let me go and do my vacation. I just don't see that happening. I don't know what this is. I just don't.
I could sort of see something along those lines happening. I think part of the reason why Brady retired in the first place is because he has a lot of underlying, or I'm speculating, he probably has a lot of underlying guilt, missing some of his children's life as they're growing up and they're young kids. A lot of pressure from Giselle, probably wanting to stay home. Like, he knows he's been doing this for fucking ever, and there is a timetable of when he needs to be with his family, and I think maybe part of the whole deal coming back to the Bucs, hey, I might be taking a small vacation with my family before the season ends, and I'm not going to see them for 6 months or 5 months. I'm going to take a small vacation with my family, be with my kids. Who really fucking knows? But I mean, I don't think he's miserable by any stretch.
No, he loves football way too much to actually be miserable.
There is some speculation out there, like some fucking tabloid bullshit, right? Just straight up rumors that Giselle was like not very
Giselle
happy.
to get divorced.
I don't know about the divorce thing, but that she was not happy with his decision to come back, right? That she was once he announced that they finally thought that he was going to be there.
Well, she wanted him to retire like 7 years ago,
right? And that's not the case anymore. In terms of like him missing, some people like he just doesn't want to play. He could just not play in those games. A lot of people don't play in those preseason games. And if you're talking about just practices in general, Tom Brady's only doing half the practices anyway right now.
Yep.
Like he's only made 3 out of the last 6 practices because he gets a personal day here, a veteran day there. So it's not like he's overwhelmed. I think there's something fucking going on. I don't know if we're ever going to hear about it, but there's no possible way that it's like, yeah, just a undisclosed personal reason that he told me about this in advance that was all planned out. No, it's not that. There's something going on. And for people to think, that's crazy, beyond the pale. This is a motherfucker who was in talks with the Miami Dolphins to come and like take over as quarterback and be an owner, right? And then bring Sean Payton from the Saints. He like the idea that there might not be secrets kept or things going on that they don't want people to hear about. That's just laughable at this point. Yeah. So I do think it's something to be, I wouldn't say worried. Like I'm not worried about Tom Brady this season, but it is something that it's like, now it's in the back of my head. I wonder what's going on. There's a little concern there.
What do you think, like if you had to narrow it down to something where you think that something was going on, Ryan?
Why do I think that?
No, like you said, you think something is definitely up. Something's going on. Do you think it's personal injury?
I don't think it could be related. I think it's personal.
You think it'd be related to the Miami Dolphins situation?
I was saying that earlier.
We talked about that a little bit too before the stream, and Beardo had speculated maybe because they're playing the Miami Dolphins this week, he wanted to find a way to not have to do that. But if that was the case, I think he would have found a way to do that before, like they practiced with the Miami Dolphins. He was on the field with the Miami Dolphins a couple times in training camp. So like all those, things and all those questions, all those things came up there too. So I really think if I'm betting, I think it has something to do with like his family. Now, I don't think it's anything medical with him. It might be something medical with his family. It might be something that he feels he needs to spend time with them because they're upset. Something like that. That's what I think is going on. Because that's the only reason you wouldn't disclose it.
Yeah. It's going to be... there is, like, look, bottom line is they've handled this to create... that they've created the speculation with the way they've handled it. They just have undisclosed personal reasons.
Yeah. I also
the biggest star in the sport, someone who just came off of out of retirement after suddenly retiring, someone that's caught up in this Miami Dolphins controversy. It's not a good play the way they played it.
Yeah. And if they would have came out and said though, oh, Tom Brady's going on a small vacation before the regular season starts, then the headlines would have been Tom Brady's head is in the right place. Does Tom Brady really want to play? Is this a forced vacation from Giselle? How much influence does Giselle have? It could have been worse. Maybe keeping it quiet is a little bit better. But yeah, it's still odd.
Yes, but what are we talking about now? That's what we're talking about.
Exactly.
If that's what they wanted to do, I think they failed. But Tom Brady will return after their preseason game with the Tennessee Titans a couple weeks from now.